NFL fans, it's time to talk some playoff football. In this new episode of the JL Day Sports Show, I'm giving you my final picks for the divisional round. We got 4 incredible games, 8 teams fighting it out to play in the Final Four. Guys, over the last 9 weeks of the regular season, we crushed our picks. 110 wins, only 39 losses. That's why you got to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Let's get into my picks for the divisional round. All right, NFL fans, I'm going to give you my moneyline picks and my picks against the spread in this final picks episode. We're going to kick things off with the Houston Texans playing the Kansas City Chiefs, who are undefeated at home. They played a few weeks back, and the Chiefs won 27-19. There were some missed opportunities from the Texans in this spot, right? They got to turn these field goals into touchdowns if they want to beat Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs at home. Also, Joe Mixon is questionable in this spot, so take that into consideration if you're betting. I look for Nico Collins to have a really big game in this spot. The Chiefs run a lot of man-to-man, and nobody on planet Earth can cover Nico Collins man-to-man. So, how do the Texans win this game? They got to sack Patrick Mahomes more than the one sack they got in Week 16. That is imperative for them to win this game. If they don't disrupt Patrick Mahomes and this passing offense, they have no chance of winning this game at all whatsoever. And they also have to slow down Patrick Mahomes on third down. They're closing in on 50% third down conversion rate for the season, which is incredibly impressive, second best in the entire NFL. So, the spread is at 8 points, guys. So, who do I think ultimately wins this game? I'm going with the Chiefs at home. They're undefeated, but that 8 points is a big number. What I did, I bought a 1.5, and I got the Texans and plus 9.5. I think the Texans cover the 8, but I wanted to be a little careful with my bet, so I got the Texans and plus 9.5. I'm taking the Texans and the points, but I do think money line wise, the Kansas City Chiefs get it done and move on to another AFC Championship game. Wrapping up the Saturday slate, we have the Commanders on the road taking on the number 1 seed Detroit Lions. I think the Commanders have a huge uphill battle on their hands. In order to win this game, they have to continue their success on 3rd and 4th down. Jaden Daniels has the best QBR in 4th down across the entire NFL, and for a rookie, that's absolutely incredible. They really need to keep this Lions offense off the field, guys. Is it possible to do that? I'm not really sure. David Montgomery is back. Him and Jahmyr Gibbs are quite the two-headed monster, and this Commanders defense has the 3rd worst rush defense in the NFL. I think it's a really big uphill battle for Jaden Daniels to go on the road and beat the number 1 seed. Baker Mayfield lost that game for the Buccaneers last week. They had the Commanders beat, and then those fumbles really effed everything up. So, who do I ultimately think wins this game? I just think this Lions offense is going to be too dominant, man. With Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like, the cornerback situation for the Commanders is not very good at all whatsoever. And I just think that Sam Laporta and Amon-Ra St. Brown just dominate in every facet. I think the Lions put up at least 35 points in this spot. I'm going with the Lions to win this game and cover the spread. There's just too much of an uphill battle for the Commanders in this spot. I love Jaden Daniels. He was my favorite prospect in the draft process when I was breaking down quarterbacks last year, and he proved me right. I love Jaden Daniels. He's very coachable, very humble kid, and he's only going to get better and better. And as an Eagles fan, that's very, very scary stuff. But they're also very well coached, the Commanders, but so are the Lions. They have the best offensive coordinator in the entire NFL, and Dan Campbell has balls of steel. That's why I'm taking the Lions to win outright and cover the 9-point spread, guys. All right, let's move on to the Sunday game. The early game on Sunday is my Philadephia Eagles versus the LA Rams. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles! Now, who wins this game? They played in Week 12, and the Eagles kicked the dog shit out of the Rams. They rushed for over 300 team yards. Barkley had 255. They sacked Matt Stafford 5 times. But the Rams have been playing a lot better since that first meeting in Week 12. It's been a little while, right? This Rams defense, especially the front 7, has been playing remarkably better. Last week, they sacked Sam Darnold 9 freaking times and picked him off once. They have been incredible. But The Philadelphia Eagles defense is the best defense in the NFL, guys. They forced 4 turnovers last week as well. Unfortunately, the offense was a little bit slow going last week. The game should have been more like them winning by 20 or 25 as opposed to what they ended up winning by. The offense didn't look great. I'm just going to call a spade a spade. Jalen Hurts struggled to find open receivers. He was inaccurate with the football. He looked like he missed plenty of time. I think it was, 3 weeks he was out, 4 weeks, something like that. But he's got to play a lot better, straight up. Ultimately, I think this game comes down to what running back has the better game, whether it be Kyren Williams or Saquon Barkley. Whatever running back has more yards at the end of the game, I think that team wins. Unfortunately for the Rams, this offensive line is considerably better than the Vikings, especially this Vikings team that's been playing the last 3 or 4 weeks. Their offensive line has been in complete shambles. And this Rams defense likes to put a lot of pressure on the quarterback. And one thing that Sam Darnold does not do well is use his checkdowns. And we all know Jalen Hurts loves to scramble outside the pocket, do things with his legs, and check the ball down to guys like Dallas Goedert and Saquon Barkley. They're not going to have those same looks as they had last week with the Vikings. So, who do I ultimately think wins this game? One proponent that I forgot to mention earlier is the weather's going to be freaking freezing. A high of 33, low of 18 with snow starting right around game time. Matt Stafford, from a stat I saw on WIP, said that he's like 1-8 in rain and snow games. That's not looking good for Matt Stafford. He's played pretty much in a dome his entire career. He never really gets experience playing in these freezing cold games over his, 12, 15-year career. He's only played in 7 or 8 games in the rain or snow. Not a lot. That's like a half a game a season. So I just think that if the Rams could not beat the Philadelphia Eagles in SoFi Stadium in the best conditions, it's going to be a very big uphill battle for the Rams to get a W. The Eagles are without Brandon Graham and Nakobe Dean, who were both in that game for Week 12. The defense has been fine without Brandon Graham, but we'll have to see how they are, especially against the run, because Nakobe Dean has had a really good season. So who do I ultimately think wins this game? I'm going with the Philadelphia Eagles to get a big W, but I think the Rams cover the 6 points. I think it's going to be a 23-20, 24-20 type of game. So I'm going with the Philadelphia Eagles money line, guys, and I'm going with the Rams to cover the 6 points. And if I was betting on this game, I might take the Rams and get that extra 1.5, bring it up to 7.5. Or if you want to bet on the Eagles, buy the 1.5, get it down to 4.5 at like minus 140 odds. But I'm taking the Philadelphia Eagles to win this game and the Rams to cover the 6-point spread. All right, NFL fans, and wrapping up the divisional round, we have the best game of the week, Buffalo Bills at home taking on the Ravens. The Bills had a great year at home this year. The Ravens had a very strange year. The first half of the year, the defense didn't play well at all. And the second half, they played exceptionally well. This team played each other in Week 4, and Derrick Henry went crazy. He rushed for 199 yards. That's like the most yards ever given up by a Sean McDermott team. Pretty unbelievable stuff. But they were also without their 2 starting linebackers and their starting nickel. Right, so 3 of the 11 starters didn't play in that game, so I expect them to contain Derrick Henry a little bit more. Maybe he only gets like 150 yards. But my heart wants to pick Buffalo. I want the Bills and Josh Allen to move on to the championship game and beat the Chiefs. Because for whatever reason, the Ravens suck donkey balls when they play the Chiefs, and the Chiefs always have their number. But for whatever reason, the more research I do on this game, I think the Ravens win. But it's going to be a really close game, right? And the weather, 18 degrees. I've been going back and forth, now even saying it, that I want the Ravens and think the Ravens are going to win. I'm like, I don't feel good about it. I don't feel good about it. So you know what? I'm flipping the script. I'm going with the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen to win the game. I just think they have a little bit more offensively. They have a great running back. They also have several good wide receivers. Amari Cooper, Khalil Shakir, Keon Coleman. The diversity of the Ravens offense is going to live and die with Lamar Jackson, who's going to probably have a good game running the ball because the Bills aren't particularly great at stopping quarterbacks that run the ball, and Derrick Henry. It looks like Zay Flowers is not going to play in this spot. He hasn't really practiced all week. It's probably going to be a game time decision type situation. Or he's going to have to rely on the tight ends like Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews. Their wide receivers just aren't very good. So if the Buffalo Bills can use this to their advantage, and maybe the cold and the wind, and maybe we'll get a little bit of snow, they can use that to their advantage. The footing won't be so good for Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson, but if they do not stop Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, if they combine for over like 150, 175 yards, it's over. The Ravens are going to win. But I think the Buffalo Bills play a little bit better complementary football, and I just trust Josh Allen a little bit more. Lamar Jackson had an incredible year. It's 1A and 1B. If there was ever a dual year for MVP, it's this year with Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. But I'm going to stick with my initial gut and go with the home team, the Buffalo Bills, in the freezing cold to get a W here. I think the passing game is going to be very lackluster for the Ravens. So if I'm the Buffalo Bills, I'm stacking the box 7, 8, 9 guys and forcing Lamar Jackson to beat me down the field with his arm. I'm going with the Buffalo Bills to win this game and cover the 1-point spread. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace.